Today we are talking about careers in agriculture. That everybody that's watching this needs to be thinking about what their career path looks like and taking courses to get ready for whatever their career is. And today we're with Suzanne Cecil White, my friend from Owensboro, Kentucky, and she's going to talk a little bit about her career in agriculture. Can you tell us, just tell us a little bit about your business and what you do?
Sure. So we are Cecil Farms Produce, and we're in Owensboro, as you said. We've got a lot of different pieces going on at our operation. Right now, today, I'm sitting in a field where we're laying plastic because we're getting ready to plant our watermelons. We grow 400 acres of watermelons that ship all across the nation for a major brand. I've been in the greenhouse all the last couple of weeks. We're selling our flowers and our ferns. We're gearing up for the whole spring season. And we've been planting and taking care of lots of spring vegetables as well, because we do a home delivery fruit and vegetable service that we deliver to people's doorsteps. My dad and my brother the last few weeks have been going so hard, working triple time with our lime and fertilized spreading service and custom spraying service. So there's a lot of different pieces and aspects in our operation, and I'm just one little piece. We've got about 25 people running around all over the place right now because spring has officially sprung.
So I like about your background is that you were a teacher, so you can relate to a lot of the other folks that are watching this video, not just the students. But so folks maybe know what the picture of a teacher looks like. What does the picture of a person in your position, what do you do on a day-to-day basis, a day in the life of Suzanne?
Every day is different. And I do a lot of driving. We wake up and we need supplies, so I've got to drive an hour and a half to our supplier, or I'm checking the greenhouse, watering the plants or the flowers in the morning. This morning we went out, we covered the strawberries yesterday because we were having a frost, so we uncovered the strawberries. So this morning we picked strawberries, and I've actually got some right here.
Nice.
And I'm in disbelief that we have strawberries already. So every day is a little bit different. It's a lot of running around. We start with a team meeting every morning to kind of organize and send everybody in their different directions. But we're just a little bit of all over the place. Our land, our farm is not just in one place. We have our home farm that we grow a lot on, but we also lease a lot of land from other landowners. And some of that land is 45 minutes from our home farm. And so we spend a lot of time back and forth and tending to each of these different fields.
So it's not just stepping out the back door each day, that it requires traveling different places. And some of those properties that you lease may change from year to year. I'm sure that what you're dealing with in 2020 may be different in 2021. And I wish that we could eat those strawberries virtually, but since we can't eat them virtually, we'll move on to the next thing.
I'll enjoy them for you.
Well, can you tell us about some other jobs in agriculture, not just other jobs in the field?
Sure. We have an agronomist that we hired that helps guide us and give us recommendations every season, every week. We've got updates. And so we've got people that are guiding us with that. We've got field scouts out here. We're planting our soybeans now, and we've got someone that's going into the field and checking for that first sprout and then timing everything. We've got marketing. If you are on social media, we have to market our retail aspect of our farm every single day. We've got to have something.
You guys do a great job.
Thank you. You can definitely check it out at Cecil Farms PD and at White Chateau on Instagram and Facebook. But there's so many different pieces. Then we have, of course, the people that are in the field. We have the people packing. We have the sales. I'm over a lot of the sales for our team because we sell to, like I said, we grow for a major brand that distributes our watermelons, but for our other fruits and vegetables, we grow for some local distributors that ship to all the restaurants and the schools within 3 states around us. And I handle the sales and the communications with those customers. And I mean, there are just so many different roles that are played, and sometimes we get to play all those roles, and sometimes it's really nice to be able to hire somebody to help us with those roles.
Well, and I tell people a lot of times that it's not just career specific to agriculture, but we need people that are, say, for example, that they're lawyers, but they specialize in agriculture, or they're an accountant that understands agriculture. There's somebody that does, you talked about marketing, they could be doing web design or something of that nature that understands the agriculture clientele. So what about
our accountant has been so important that they understand things, and the legal advice that we seek, that has been critical in so many aspects. And just like me, I may have grown up on this farm and I may be farming with my family now, but that was never my love. That was never my intention. I was a high school math teacher. I majored in math. I got my master's degree in educational administration. I am a teacher at heart still today. Never dreamed I would be working with the farm. But the skills that I brought back to the farm by not having been a farmer before, definitely, there's so many, you don't have to grow up on a farm, and you don't have to be all in to farming to be successful with this farming or agriculture career.
So I worked at a university in a different field and came back to agriculture. So one thing that Suzanne and I have in common is that we both worked in other fields, and we got smarter as we got older and came back to agriculture and came back to our home communities. But what type of education do you think that, if there's students, there's middle schoolers and high schoolers watching this, what type of education would be helpful to them? It sounds like that there's a lot of things that would apply to agriculture, but what advice would you give them as far as courses that they could be taking now?
I'm a huge proponent for education, any type of education, because through any type of studies or furthering your education, you're gaining relationships, you're networking, you're practicing the skills of being productive. So it's more about, I don't know that there's particular subjects or topics. It's more of your work ethic, your commitment, your desire to be better, because any kind of furthering education, any kind of studies, showing up is huge. Being on time, that's huge for us. I mean, when we say we're meeting at 6 a.m. to head to the field, we actually mean we're leaving at 5:45, whether you're here or not. If you're here at 6 a.m., you're late. If you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. So it's more of the personal skills and the personal drive, and being in the habit of a routine and showing up, getting it up, dress up, show up. And when I say dress up, it can be a collared shirt, it can be this Tractor Supply or Carhartt jacket.
Look appropriate for the job, whatever that is.
Right.
So work hard, have a positive attitude, and learn how to treat people. That's one of the things that we talk about. So that goes completely in line with what you're saying. So what are some of the most critical skills that you look for? Let's say that you were hiring some of these young people that are watching this video. What are some things that we kind of alluded to those? What are some other critical skills that you would look for in hiring an employee?
I love someone who has ideas, new ideas, not necessarily just going with the flow. I also look for someone that is very flexible. Flexibility is key in agriculture because things change by the moment. I had one of our new interviewed employees we had just hired a week ago. I had her come for some orientation, and what she thought she was coming for that day, we did none of that because my phone kept ringing, pulling me in so many directions, and she went with it. And she just picked up and did whatever I was doing in the moment. And at the end of the day, it was like, this isn't what you thought you were coming for today, but I think you got a pretty good orientation of what it's going to be like around here. So flexibility is huge, and the willingness to do what is needed to be done in the moment. helps us all to be successful.
On that flexibility issue, there's no business, no industry out there that is more reliant outside the weatherman himself on their career on the weather, and it changes by the minute. The other thing is the market. We're just so reliant on those markets, so we have to be able to adapt. And each year is so different from one year from the next. So I'm sure that the wet weather that we had in 2018 and the droughts towards the end of 2019, and then this year, we're just hoping for a blessed year of good weather and adapt to that. So what other things, what things are changing, and what do you see changing in your job in the career field over the next handful of years? What do you see changing in agriculture?
I feel like, things are moving rapidly. And, in the last week, I've even thrown my farm market online, and never did I think I was going to put my farm stand on the internet as a website. But I'm selling things pre-order on a website, and people are showing up, driving through and picking it up or receiving delivery like the farmer's market. So it's going to be what we create, but also what the consumer creates and demands. And we change with the consumer demand. And I know with what we're experiencing right now, the consumer and the demand are going to change. We don't know how, but we're going to roll with it. And we always just try to kind of stay ahead of that curve as much as we can. And, when something's thrown at me one week, a curveball, like in the recent weeks, then within a week, I'm adjusting and doing what needs to be done. I can't predict how things are going to change. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Adam?
Oh, wow. I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities in agriculture that come out of the current virus situation. We were talking about this at work today. And, I think that there's going to be supply and demand opportunities in agriculture that people are going to care more than they did in March, that in the future they're going to care about where their food comes even more, and that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for people doing what you do that provide, that you can have this face-to-face relationship and provide in your local area, but also, local can be defined a lot of ways. But I think there's a lot of opportunities that folks want to know where their food is coming from, and they also want to know that it's not that it's just safe to get, but that they're going to be able to have access to it. So I think that there's a lot of opportunities to be able to increase transactions with people, whatever part of the state of Kentucky that you're in, and people that are not far from that, and obviously opportunities across the country as well. So that's just my opinion of where I think.
Well, and the key to all of that is the relationship. Relationships matter so much. Relationships with the consumer, relationships with my fellow farmers, with the Kentucky Chamber, with friends across the state. These relationships are key in networking and making all of that work and have a success post this experience, or just any time. It's the relationships matter. And one of the things our farm really focuses on is building relationships with people and with the consumer, and opening up our space to come and experience and touch the farm, and know an actual farmer and know where these strawberries came from.
Well, and I think that the current situation that we're in right now, that I think it just reminds people of how much we took for granted the opportunity to touch and feel and see and be around things. And I do think that people want to have that relationship. And even if for a period of time we have to do more of it virtually, and I think that we have to become more creative to find ways to expand on that, to continue to give people and satisfy that need that they have to feel connected to whatever it is, whether it's agriculture or whether it's something else. And I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming out of this to do that. So let's shift gears for a second. We both talked about, I was in a different career at a university. You were in a career as a teacher. We both came back to agriculture. So why, let's talk about the benefits of the careers in agriculture. What do you see as some of the to the folks watching this that would be a strong benefit to being a part of a career in agriculture?
Well, one, my faith is huge and I get to see God every day. 2, I'm outside a lot, outdoors. 3, I'm with my family. I'm working with my family. And that's not always easy and not always fun, but a lot of times it is a lot of fun, or it's just a really good connection. 4, I take so much pride in when we see our watermelon with that brand sticker in grocery stores everywhere, or people are sending us pictures. I have so much pride that we did that we produced that we're providing that, and we're wearing ourselves out, this time of year and throughout the season. But at the end, there's so much gleaming pride that we did that for people, even if they never know, who we are. There's just a lot of pride in what we do.
Well, because we talk about our business, it's funny, the things that you said, it's the same thing. So for students watching agriculture, we talk about faith, family, friends, and farming. And I want to echo what Suzanne said. I think it's a great opportunity to expand all those things. And so I work in a family business as well. And that's, people ask me what the best part is and the worst part is. I said it's working with family. It's mainly the best part. So what about, can you tell us about your first job in the industry? You didn't start where you are today. Tell us about whether that was before you were a teacher, after you were a teacher, but your first opportunity in agriculture. What did that look like?
When I was a kid, I got to help with harvesting potatoes a little bit in the summer. We used to grow a lot of potatoes for potato chip companies. But I really got out of that quickly because, like I said, I was not interested. And so it was after I'd been teaching almost 10 years and we moved back home that my dad pulled up an article in a magazine and said, you should try this. And it was about a CSA, community supported agriculture. We grow all these vegetables. Why not see if people here in our town would like to do that? And so I had no idea what I was doing, and I knew nothing about vegetables or growing vegetables, but I went for it, and people were excited about our vegetables showing up at their doorstep. And so from there, I've just built and built and built and added on, and really kind of exploded our retail side of what had just been a wholesale commercial operation since 1981 with our family. And so, it just it wasn't expected. I really wasn't planning to land back here. And then I had this aha moment of, why not use all my skills and strengths for this thing that my dad and my brother and my mom have committed their whole life to.
Our stories are so similar because that's how I ended up back in agriculture too. I love to hear you. We've known each other for years now, and I love to hear that story. I hadn't heard exactly how you got into agriculture, so I'm learning today too. But what I did want to kind of wrap up with this is we talked a little bit about about how folks can find out more about your company, but I do want to say that for you guys watching this, not only for young women, but also young men that are watching this, and not just folks in agriculture, that Suzanne is a great role model and a great person to emulate, and a person that you might want to reach out to find out more about agriculture or just advancing in your career in general. So if folks wanted to find out more about your company, find out more about what you guys do or about you in general, how would folks get into contact or get that information?
The quickest, easiest way is our website, cecilfarmspd.com. P is in produce, D is in delivery. And if you hit that contact button, it comes directly to me. We also have shopcecilfarms.com. That'll come to me too. Any of those contact buttons, you will reach me and I'll be on the other side of the keyboard. And I'd love for you to come visit, or I'd love to chat. I'd love to answer your questions. We can do a Zoom call. I am up for it.
Awesome. Well, students, if you're watching this and you're thinking about a career in agriculture or any career, now is the time while you're in high school, while you're in middle school, to be learning the skills that you need, to be taking the courses that you need and getting prepared for tomorrow. So Suzanne, thanks again for joining us today. I had a good time, learned a lot myself, and look forward to having some of those good Cecil Farm strawberries.
Thank you so much. I loved it.